Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you here, guys. So as you can see in today's video, I want to compare two fragrances that are supposed to dupe By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela. Now I do not own that fragrance, but I have smelled it a few times and I do have like a vivid scent memory of it in my mind. The fragrances that I want to compare today are AMEER Al Oud Intense Oud by the House of LATTAFA and Campfire by Paris Corner. Okay, so when it comes to AMEER Al Oud, I already have an in-depth review for that fragrance, so if you want to hear my in-depth thoughts about that fragrance and some comparisons with other fragrances, then please check out this video. In today's video, I will only share like my briefly thoughts about it. So yes, now when it comes to the notes, I will insert the notes somewhere over here, guys. I mean, they are similar and they are not similar. I feel like besides the fact that they both share vanilla and some like dry woody accords, I feel like they pretty much go into their own directions when it comes to the notes. And right from the start, let me tell you, they are similar. I mean, they share some similarities to one another, but they are two different fragrances. I mean, I personally can easily tell them apart. Okay, so when it comes to AMEER Al Oud, this on its own smells like crystallized sugar with some rough, dry, woody accord. You have here a little bit of vanilla that gives an overall richness and sweetness to the fragrance, and you also have here an oud accord. Now, it doesn't smell like real oud, it's more of an oud-like accord, let's say. That oud accord to me smells slightly medicinal and slightly like rich and woody, you know. But I would say in general, if you're not the biggest fan of oud, I don't think you will have a problem with the oud accord here because it's quite wearable. I mean, it's not like a skanky oud, it's not a funky oud, it's a very wearable sort of oud. Now, this fragrance, this is basically supposed to be an inspiration of By the Fireplace. And By the Fireplace is supposed to give you this like smoked woods warming up sort of feel. Now this to me, it has a slight smoked nuance, like some smoked woods, but I feel like the smoky nuance, at least on me, it's more toned down. It's not the main thing that I smell. Like I said, this is sweet, this is dense, this is warm, it's rich, it has a lot of nuances going on. It's very sweet as well. I feel like I've said, it smells like crystallized sugar. I feel like the sugariness of the fragrance is more amplified than the vanilla, at least to my nose. And this fragrance, as you wear it, it changes a little bit. Let's just say that the sugariness starts to tone down and you start to get more of those like rough, dry, woody accords. Now I feel like this on its own, it's a beautiful fragrance. It's very affordable, definitely smells much more expensive than its price. I feel like you could wear this one on its own. I see no issues with that. I feel like it would work amazing for layering. If I'm being very honest with you guys, I wear this fragrance more for layering. I use it in my layering combos. This would work amazing layer with something vanilla heavy, with some vanilla spicy fragrances, or with other like let's just say woody fragrances that you would like to add some sweetness to them. Now this on its own, again, it's a very interesting fragrance simply because it has some warm facets about it, but it's also cold, so I feel like it's quite a contrasting fragrance. And also this has a very artificial, synthetic aspect to it, not in a bad way. I mean, it doesn't, how to say, it doesn't trigger my headaches, it doesn't smell off, it doesn't smell bad or anything, but it's just like, imagine the whole scent, what I've described you so far, like the sugariness, the vanilla, the woody accords, and the oud. It's more, it's enveloped in something very artificial. Yeah, now Campfire, on the other hand, this one smells much more realistic. This has a very natural-esque vibe to it. It smells like, okay, so imagine this. It smells like you're in the mountains, but like somewhere in the mountains where there's like fir trees or pine trees, or how you call them in English, and you want to make a fire, okay? And you take some pieces of dry wood, but like dry piney wood, or like how I will insert a picture, basically the one you use for Christmas, you know. Imagine you like take some pieces of dry wood of that kind, you add a lot of drops of rich, full vanilla essence, and then you put it in the fire, or like you try to make a fire with it. So it's not like full-blown smoky. I would say it's more like smoked, like fumé. So it has more of a warm smoke. It's not like that ashy smoky accord that some people might find bothering. This on its own is a beautiful fragrance. I feel like if you're a mountain lover like me, I feel like this fragrance will I feel like this will make you remember your hiking trips. This will make you remember the time where you were at a cabin in the mountains, you know, making a fire, chatting with your friends, having a drink, having a laugh, you know. This, for me at least, is quite a nostalgic smell, I have to say, and I really do enjoy it. So yes guys, like I said, this one on its own, like if you close your eyes and you try to imagine, like you take few pieces of dry fir wood or like pine wood. Then you send them with a very rich, full balsamic vanilla accord or like vanilla essence. Let's say you add a few drops to the wood and then you put it on fire and it starts to slowly be smoked from underneath. So you have a lot of beautiful, warm, rich, smoked nuances coming to you. And then guys, you make marshmallows in the fire. If you've ever done this, you know how it smells. I feel like marshmallows on its own, they're not the most fragrant product, but when you put them in the fire, they smell slightly roasted and they smell like powdered sugar, to me at least. So you have this like powdery sugariness vibe as well. Now this fragrance, yes, they do share some similarities. If you were to ask me which one I think is the most similar to Fireplace, I would say Fireplace is a mixture of both. It has something from AMEER Al OUDH, it has something from that that like artificial synthetic vibe that I was telling you about, that like crystallized sugar aspect, but it has a lot from campfire as well. So I would say if you are looking to, let's just say, find a fragrance that replicates the smell of By the Fireplace but very realistic, then get these two. Both are very affordable and you could layer them. I would use AMEER Al OUDH as a base and campfire as a topper, simply because AMEER Al OUDH is slightly stronger, so it would work better as a base, while this one, it's not as strong. It's more of an intimate fragrance, but I will touch on the performance a little bit later. Back to comparison. Both are sweet, but they have different kinds of sweetness. I would say the sweetness in AMEER Al OUDH comes from, imagine a rich crystallized sugar accord. So you have more of the sugariness than the vanilla. The sweetness in this one comes from a vanilla essence, I would say. Like I've said, you add a few drops of vanilla essence on a dry piece of wood, you know. This is where the sweetness comes from. Here you get some sugary vibes as well, but I would say the sugariness is more of a powdered sugar, not your like normal sugar, sort of sugar, you know. Now, something else. I feel like when it comes to the overall warmth of these fragrances, okay, so both are basically supposed to replicate or imitate the smell of burning woods. I feel like campfire does this the best. This legit smells, like I've said, like you're in the mountains, like you're making up a campfire. Like it just smells like straight up you're in the mountains. It smells very realistic. You even have that, like, again, pine or fir, I'm not really sure what is the appropriate term in English, but I will insert it here. You even have that soft nuance there. So this is why I say, imagine you burn those sort of wood for a campfire, you know. This one, on the other hand, at least to my nose, it doesn't have such a pronounced smoked wood accord or like smoked wood feel to it. I feel like this is more crystallized sugar, and yes, you have some woody accords here, but to my nose at least, they are more of those like rough, dry woody accords than the smoked woody accords. So we talked about the sweet aspect, we talked about the woody accords and how they differentiate one another. Now I want to touch upon the warmth of these two fragrances. Campfire by Paris Corner is a much warmer fragrance. It feels like you're close to a fire and you have burning wood near you. Like I've mentioned, it doesn't have the ashy smoky aspect, so if you're afraid of ashy smoke in your fragrances, don't be afraid, because this one doesn't have it. But this overall is a much more warm fragrance. It has some warmth to it, but then it also has something that cold, that it almost feels like it cuts through the warmth of the fragrance. So this is much more warmer. I mean, this like campfire is much more warmer than AMEER Al OUDH. Also, this smells much more natural, like I said. It smells very realistic. I think Paris Corner did an amazing job when it comes to replicating or imitating how a weekend or like how a getaway in the mountains would smell like, you know. This one, AMEER Al OUDH, I would say it's more of an interpretation. You have the oud here, or like the oud accord, should I say. This one in the opening is slightly medicinal because of the oud accord. Also guys, basically as you wear them, this one doesn't go through any stages. This is a pretty much a linear fragrance. The way it smells when you first apply it, I feel like it's the way it smells right until the dry down. Personally, I don't see an issue with this factor, simply because I really enjoy the smell, and this is supposed to give you an experience, and I feel like it genuinely gives you an experience from the opening till the dry down, you know. This one, on the other hand, this one changes a little bit, still within the same scent family. It's not like you apply one fragrance and then by the end of the day it smells like a completely different one. No, it's not the case, but it simply changes. Let's just say it has more of a development as you wear it. Yeah, I don't know guys, maybe it's just because I let my bottle macerate for, I don't know, a good few months, I don't know exactly, but now the sugariness, it's like melted cold crystallized sugar. This is how it smells. In the background you have some like rough dry woody accords, but they are enveloped by the crystallized cold sugar touch, you know. Try to imagine this. And then as you are wearing it, it gets drier and drier, and those like very dry woody accords are becoming more pronounced. So yes, this is pretty much what I think about both of these fragrances. When it comes to performance, this definitely performs better. I feel like it lasts better, even though I feel this one, Campfire, it's not a bad performing fragrance, but it's not the sort of fragrance that, like, let's just say fills up a room, you know. But again, this can be a good thing for those who are looking for a fragrance that's more soft and intimate, or it might be a bad thing for those who are looking for the next ultra beast mode heavy duty sort of fragrance, you know. Now personally, for me, none of these two are beast mode fragrances. I would overspray both of these. How to say, like, none match the level of Red Tobacco, for instance, or any Montal or Mancera fragrance. And I compare it to these two brands because they're known for their like ultra heavy beast mode fragrances. Now, if you were to ask me which one would I recommend to you, I have to say it depends what you want to add to your collection. If you're looking to add a fragrance that will remind you of a getaway in the mountains, then definitely Campfire. Again, it's not the most beast mode fragrance that you can find, but performance is not everything when it comes to a fragrance. And I feel like when it comes to this fragrance, less might be actually more. I still have to test this theory to see, but so far from what I've seen, less is definitely more, because too much of this can smell not very elegant, you know, not very elegant. But few sprays of this one in the right places with the right outfit at the right occasion, I feel like it would be like a match made in heaven, you know, like it will all just like flow easily. Now this one, on the other hand, like I've said, is slightly stronger, but it smells more artificial at the same time, so it depends. Okay, so for instance, if you are a person who has a little bit of sensitivity to smoky accords, I mean not smoky because it's not a full-blown smoky accord, it's like a smoked, like a warm smoked vibe, you know. There is a difference. I feel like those who love smoky accords, instance, in their fragrances, they will know what I'm talking about, you know. So if you're sensitive to that, then I feel like you might have an issue with Campfire, because this is, how to say, it's, you have that like smoked, like warm sweet smoked wood accord forward, and then the sweetness in the backwards, then the sweetness behind. But this is a sweet fragrance. This, on the other hand, you have the sweetness in the front, and then you have all the other nuances in the back. Both are very dense fragrances, both are very rich fragrances, both have complexity to them, both have a depth but not a darkness. None of these are dark mysterious fragrances. And also, guys, both would work amazing for layering purposes. I feel like this one, again, as a base, if you love Majd Sultan, you will love this fragrance. They don't smell alike, by the way. I don't think they smell alike, at least to my nose, but as a guideline, if you love Majd Sultan, I think you will not have an issue with this fragrance. Guys, those were my thoughts about these two fragrances. If you have tried both of these fragrances, I would love to read your thoughts about them down below, so please share your feedback on them. This is everything I wanted to tell you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram. I will leave my handle up here. If you have any questions, please put them down below, and I promise that I will get back to you. I've been off of YouTube for a few days, or more like 2 weeks, but I'm back, guys, and I'm starting to respond to all your comments. So thank you so much again for all your beautiful comments. I swear, I feel like I always say this, but I read some of your comments and you put the biggest smile on my face, so thank you for that. So yes, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye.